Ladies and gentlemen, you know that feeling. It's August, the sun is shining, the new kit, which costs the same as a monthly car payment, is crisp. The new manager is smiling, the new striker is holding up the shirt, and you beautiful, magnificent idiot, you think to yourself, this is the year, we look good. The music abruptly stops with a record scratch. And then it's February. You're 7th. You've just been knocked out of the FA Cup by a team that spells its name with 3 numbers, and your star player is assessing his options. Congratulations. You're a Tottenham Hotspur fan. You're not just a fan of a football club, you're a test subject in a decades-long psychological experiment to see how much false hope a human being can ingest before their optimism finally, mercifully, shuts down. It sucks to be you. It sucks in a way that fans of other clubs simply cannot understand. A Coventry fan knows they're going to suffer. A Man City fan has forgotten what the word suffer even means. But you live in the horrible, agonizing middle. You live in the purgatory of the push. You are doomed to be nearly good forever. And today, we're going to explore exactly why. This isn't just about results. This is about a deep, spiritual, structural failure to be anything other than a punchline. This is why it sucks to be Tottenham Hotspur. 1. A trophy cabinet. So empty, you can hear an echo. Imagine you're single. You go on a date. You're charming, you're handsome, you're well-dressed. You talk about your new job, your great car, and the fact you just built the single most expensive, technologically advanced house in the entire city. Your date is impressed. They are really impressed. Then they ask, so, what do you do in this house? What have you achieved? And you have to look them dead in the eye and say, well, I won a Best Lighting Award in 2008. And 2 years ago, I won a pre-season friendly tournament in Germany. They gave me a little silver cup for it. It's on the fridge. That's Tottenham. The core of the misery, the central black hole that all other misery orbits, is the trophy drought. It's not just that Spurs don't win trophies, it's that they've convinced the world they're a big club, while maintaining a trophy count that would embarrass Aston Villa. Their last major honour was the League Cup in 2008. That's so long ago that the trophy was called the Carling Cup, and the man who scored the winner, Jonathan Woodgate, has been retired for almost a decade. This is the club that built a £1 billion state-of-the-art coliseum. It has a cheese room, it has a microbrewery, it has a retractable pitch so it can host NFL games, concerts, and probably a monster truck rally. It is by all accounts the greatest multi-purpose venue on earth, and the main tenant, the reason it exists, has put precisely 0 major trophies into its cabinet. This is what creates the Spursy phenomenon. Spursy isn't just losing. Oh no, any idiot club can lose. Spursy is an art form. It's the act of inventing new, avant-garde and mathematically improbable ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. It's being 2-0 up against Chelsea at half-time, knowing a win hands your rivals the league, and collapsing so completely that you hand Leicester the title. It's getting to your first Champions League final in history, and conceding a penalty in the first 24 seconds. It's finally being the only team in the title race against Leicester, the 5,000 to 1 shot, and somehow, you not only fail to win, you collapse so hard you finish 3rd, behind Arsenal. Being a Spurs fan is knowing in your bones that no lead is safe. No 1-0 lead, no 2-0 lead, no 3-0 lead. You're a Sisyphus in a replica shirt, doomed to push the rock of top 4 up the hill, only to watch it roll back down and crush you every single May. 2. The man who built a shopping mall and stuck a pitch in it. To understand why Spurs are a vortex of existential pain, you have to understand the man in charge, Daniel Levy. Levy is, by all accounts, a business genius. He is a spreadsheet wizard, a negotiating god. He's the guy who sold Gareth Bale to Real Madrid for a world record fee and probably made them pay for the shipping. He built that £1 billion stadium on time-ish and on budget-ish. He has turned Tottenham Hotspur into a global, profitable, commercial juggernaut, and that is the entire problem. You see, you, the fan, want glory. You want trophies. You want to see your captain lift a cup, even if it's just the FA Cup. You want moments. Daniel Levy, on the other hand, wants sustainable year-on-year growth and top 4 revenue. Your club is not a football club, it's an asset. It's a real estate venture with an NFL contract that just happens to have a football team attached to it to keep the lights on. This business-first mentality infects everything. It's why you have the most expensive season tickets in Europe. You're not a fan, you're a customer, and you're paying premium prices for a product that consistently underdelivers. It's why the transfer policy feels like a man trying to furnish a mansion exclusively with items from the scratch and dent aisle. Sure, we need a world-class centre-back, but can we get one on a free transfer? Can he be 34 years old? Can we pay him in instalments over 8 years? And then there's the managerial saga. Levy's business brain creates a cycle of complete madness. He hires a project manager like Pochettino. It goes great, but he doesn't quite win. So the spreadsheet says, fire the project manager, hire a serial winner. So he hires Jose Mourinho. Then he acts shocked when the serial winner plays negative 1-0 football. Then, in an act of financial and spiritual self-sabotage so perfect it should be in a museum, he fires Mourinho 1 week before a cup final. A final he would have probably, maybe, possibly won breaking the drought. Why? Because he didn't want to pay a potential severance bonus. He did it again with Conte, a serial winner. He won. Then he got mad, called the players and board trash. He wasn't wrong, and was fired. You're stuck in a loop. You're not allowed to have a project long enough to build, and you're not allowed to have a winner because they cost too much and are too mean. You're just there, stuck, paying tens for a craft beer in a stadium that was built to print money, not to win football matches. 3. The transfer policy that makes no sense. Transfer season. That magical, shimmering time of year. It's the few months where you can dream. You see your club linked with Kylian Mbappé, a prime form Zinedine Zidane, and the ghost of Pelé. You watch the ITK, in the know, accounts on Twitter. You refresh the news feeds. You argue with strangers about net spend. And then, if you're a Spurs fan, you wake up on deadline day. It's 10:50 p.m. Your rivals have all signed world beaters. And you've just announced the 6-month loan of a promising but injury-prone midfielder from the Bundesliga, with no option to buy. Tottenham's transfer policy isn't a strategy, it's a cry for help. It's a baffling, chaotic mess of Moneyball logic combined with the panic of a student who hasn't started their dissertation. It's buy high, sell low, and loan out confusingly. Do you remember the Gareth Bale money? Of course you do. You sold a genuine, fire-breathing, match-winning dragon to Real Madrid for a world record fee. This was it. This was the moment to build an empire. And what did you do? You bought 7 players. The Magnificent 7. Except they weren't magnificent. It was like trading a Ferrari for 7 used mopeds. For every Christian Eriksen, you got a Roberto Soldado, a 26 million striker who looked like he'd won a Be a Striker for a Day fan competition. You got Paulinho, you got Vlad Chiriches. You didn't build a team, you assembled a random collection of human beings who had all, at one point, kicked a football. This is the club that signed Tanguy Ndombele for a club record $63 million. He was meant to be the new Moussa Dembélé, a guy who could carry the ball through a brick wall. Instead, he was a guy who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, preferably sitting down. He became a $63 million ghost, a rounding error on the wage bill, loaned back to France, then to Italy, then to... who even knows? He's probably on a beach somewhere, still getting paid. This schizophrenia defines you. 1 minute, you're signing genuine-looking ballers like Son. The next, you're plugging a hole in defence with a player on a free transfer who peaked in 2017. You spent years with a centre-back partnership of Eric Dier and Davinson Sanchez, a pairing that had the defensive stability of a wet paper towel, all while your rivals were buying the best defenders in the world. Then, when it all falls apart, you get the recent Ange Ball miracle, only to realise that the squad is about 13 players deep. The moment one of your starting centre-backs gets injured, no problem. Just play your 2 starting fullbacks in the middle, against Chelsea. What could possibly go wrong? A 4-1 loss, and 2 red cards, that's what. You're not building a team, you're just a very rich, very confused man at a hardware store, buying 1 screw at a time, wondering why he can't build a house. 4. Your neighbours won't let you forget. Let's talk about Arsenal. Oh, you thought we wouldn't. You thought we could get through this entire intervention without mentioning them. That's adorable. That's like trying to talk about Batman's psychological trauma without mentioning his dead parents. You see, you aren't allowed to have your own misery. Your suffering is not your own. It is a shared custody misery, and it must, at all times, be compared to the success of your loudest, most obnoxious, and most successful neighbour. Imagine you have a brother. He's arrogant. He's insufferable. He wears the same stupid red outfit every day, and he's better than you. Or at least, he never lets you forget that one time he was perfect. You could climb Mount Everest and he'd just sip his tea and say, "That's nice. Did I ever tell you about the time I climbed it without anything body beating me? I got a little golden trophy for it. It's shiny." That's Arsenal. And you are the perpetually disappointing younger sibling. For 21 consecutive years, Arsenal fans had a holiday. They called it St. Totteringham's Day. This wasn't a celebration of winning something. Oh no. It was a holiday created for the sole, petty and glorious purpose of celebrating the mathematical certainty that you, Tottenham Hotspur, could no longer finish above them in the league table. They didn't just want to beat you, they wanted to rub your face in the data. Then came 2016, the year, the one time in living memory that it was all on the table. Leicester, the 5,000 to 1 shot, was winning the league. But you were the only team that could stop them. You were finally better than Arsenal. This was the year St. Totteringham's Day would be cancelled. And what did you do? In a collapse so Spursy, it should be studied in physics textbooks, you not only failed to catch Leicester, you combusted so completely that you lost 5-1 to an already relegated Newcastle on the final day, allowing Arsenal, of course Arsenal, to sneak into second place, above you, again. Your entire identity is based on this toxic, codependent relationship. You are defined not by what you are, but by what you aren't, and what you aren't is them. A good season for you isn't winning a cup, it's finishing above Arsenal. That's the bar. Your Champions League final was just finishing above Arsenal. You finally did it for a few years, and you still won nothing. You're not just fighting for trophies, you're fighting for your own right to exist in your own city, and for 2 decades, you lost. 5. A stepping stone dressed up as a destination club. What's the best feeling as a fan? It's seeing a young player come through the academy, or a new signing just click. It's watching them become a star, a genuine, world-beating, put the team on your back superstar. You think, he's one of us, he'll be here forever. If you're a Spurs fan, this feeling is immediately followed by a cold, sharp, acidic dread. Because you know in the pit of your stomach that you're not watching a club legend being born, you're watching an asset appreciate. You're not a destination club. You're the world's most expensive feeder team. You're the starter marriage for players who are destined for bigger, better and more successful partners. You don't just have world-class players, you audition them. You're the guy who finds the rough diamond, spends years polishing it, and then watches as Real Madrid, Man City or Bayern Munich walk in, toss a big bag of money on your table and walk out with your prized jewel. Look at the alumni list. It's a who's who of Champions League winners. Dimitar Berbatov got so sick of nearly winning that he just stopped playing. He sat in the stands sulking until Manchester United finally put him out of his misery. Luka Modric, the little maestro. You had him. And he realised he couldn't win here. So he metaphorically and almost literally hid under a desk until Daniel Levy was forced to sell him to Real Madrid, where he immediately won, let's check, 5 Champions League titles. Gareth Bale. You turned him from a gangly, cursed at left-back into a fire-breathing dragon who scored goals for fun. He dragged you to the Champions League, and his reward, he forced his way to Real Madrid, where he, also won 5 Champions League titles. Are we sensing a pattern here? And then, Harry Kane. This one was supposed to be different. He's one of our own, your top scorer, the best striker in the world, a man who embodied the club, and he looked at his empty trophy cabinet, looked at the club's business-first mentality and said, I'm good, I'm going to go to Manchester City. He tried. He just stopped showing up. And in the most Spursy move of all, Daniel Levy played hardball, kept an unhappy player against his will, torpedoed a season, and then sold him a year later anyway. And the punchline, the universe's grand cosmic joke. Harry Kane, the serial winner in waiting, went to Bayern Munich, a club that hadn't failed to win the league in 11 straight years, and in his very first season, they won nothing. He didn't just leave Spurs, he took the Spursy with him. You're not just a club, you're a virus. 6. This is our year. Narrator, it was not their year. So why do you do it? You're not a fan of a plucky underdog. You're not a fan of a failed giant. You're not a fan of a dominant force. You're a fan of the most frustrating thing in all of sports. the maybe. You're stuck in an endless, agonizing loop of what if. This is the club whose official motto is Odere est facer, to dare is to do. And every year, you dare, and you don't. The sheer, crushing irony of that motto, plastered all over a £1 billion stadium that has hosted more Beyoncé concerts than it has trophy parades, is the entire story. The sickness of being a Spurs fan isn't the losing. It's the hope. It's the Pochettino years. It's playing the best football in the country. It's beating Real Madrid at Wembley. It's the Battle of the Bridge. It's the miracle in Amsterdam, with Lucas Moura crying on the pitch. You were there. You were in the Champions League final. You had dared. And then, in the most anticlimactic, Spursy way possible, you went out with a whimper, losing 2-0 after conceding a penalty in the first minute. You got to the promised land and immediately tripped on the doormat. That's the cycle. You're just good enough to be relevant. You're just bad enough to never ever seal the deal. You are the top 4 trophy. You are the put the pressure on club. You are the lads it's Tottenham team that everyone knows will eventually inevitably collapse. And just when you think you're out, just when you're ready to give up, they pull you back in. They hire an Ange Postecoglou. They start playing thrilling, chaotic 4-3 football. You're top of the league in October, you're back, you're loving football again. And then, your 2 starting centre-backs get injured for 4 months, half your team gets suspended, and you're playing your full-backs at centre-back against Chelsea, losing 4-1 in a game that looked less like football and more like a public execution. That's the game. You're not a fan, you're a dopamine addict, and the club is your dealer, giving you just a tiny hit of maybe every August, right before they sell you a bag of crushed-up disappointment. So, yeah, it sucks. You're paying a super club price for an almost club experience. You're stuck in a glass and steel cathedral praying to a god that, let's be honest, has probably been an Arsenal fan this whole time, but you'll be back next season. Because that's the real curse. You still believe. You poor, hopeless, magnificent bastard